Hello, you. Hello. Hiya, Wally. What you been doing?
Yeah, I'll go.
Cheers, we'll see you in a bit. Oh. I'm under it too, John. Pull.
That was
Pull. Pull.
particularly good, that was.
Vented rib and vented barrels.
Thank God.
Yildiz.
We'll try it. Try and get out with some.
Pull. Hey! I wasn't ready for that. Right then, let's see if we can hit a few. Can feel the palm swells quite nice and it flares out at the bottom of the grit. Pull! Pull! Got there in the end. Yeah, it's not a bad thing. At the end of the day, you've got to remember that it's a £750 budget gun with a adjustable cone, ejectors and high performance steel proof. So, not bad. Hi everyone, another gorgeous day at Cold Springs Farm Gun Club. We've been and had a bit of a practice today with the Yildiz SPZ Steel Action Sporter. And here she is in this case. 3-inch chambered, 32-inch barrels, high performance steel shock proof. Obviously a budget gun. We've got this nice wood textured ABS case. So an entry level gun, and basically we've got to remember really that this retails for less than £800. Let's have a look inside and see what we've got. So we've got the pressure formed case, a bit of the egg box padding on top, and we've got the gun here, a couple of snap caps, can't be bad. Have a look what we've got in the choke box. Oh right, here we go. A rudimentary choke key. Probably buy an aftermarket one and do away with that, although I'm sure it works. And we've got 3 Yildiz chokes, flush fit. They're marked with notches, so you know which choke you're putting in. And then we've got an Allen key, that's for your adjustable stock. And we've got, I would say, full and half in extended chokes. Now personally, these chokes, they don't look like much, but I have to say that my Pro Black that I own a Yildiz, some of their chokes throw really nice patterns. So best thing to do, go to the pattern, go pattern testing, go to pattern plate, put a few rounds in and see how your chokes are performing. If they're not performing how you want, buy some posh aftermarket ones. But Yildiz send you with a couple of extended ones and 5 flush fit ones. Obviously there's 2 in the gun. Nothing fancy. the key in particular, but I'm sure it'll work fine. And that's your chokes. That fits nicely in the box, couple of snap caps, and here we have the gun. So I'll get it out, we'll get rid of this case and we'll have a look at it front to back. So we've got her out of the box and we'll have a proper look at her. So we've got the Yildiz pad. It's sort of a textured rubberized pad, and it's got a little bit of shape to it. I like a little bit of shape, fits in the shoulder nicely, and it's nicely fitted to the stock. Little bit of give in it, and the wood is just a very plain piece of, I think it's walnut, not birch. Yeah, just as you'd expect on this, a budget gun. We've got to remember at the end of the day, I think the owner of this gun paid £780 sterling for it. Yeah, and we've got to remember that when we're judging this gun. So we've got the very normal adjustable cone. So we've got the two towers that we can move left and right, and we can move this piece up and down. Brilliant. You know, a really nice feature to have on a budget gun. Yeah, what can you say? It's fantastic, really. So we've got high performance steel proof, and we've got an adjustable cone, we've got a palm swell, we've got quite a nice radius on the pistol grip, we've got laser cut checkering, very neat with a nice border, and we've got quite a nice palm swell. Yeah, it's not too bad at all, really, that. And I think the stock dimensions are quite nice. Really, you know, they'll have put a bit of research into it. The wood to metal fit, there's nothing wrong with at all. Maybe a little bit at the bottom of the trigger tang and the back strap, but you know, ever so slightly. I think we're picking holes in something here, really. Not that bad at all. So we've got a safety catch, left and right. So this is a manual safe. Now on the Yildizes, they tend not to have an over and under, so you've just got to work out which barrel. By the time you shot it a few times, you'll have it mastered for your over and under barrel. But yeah, so we've got a selective safety and a manual safety. We've got this little top lever here. It's quite a small top lever, to be honest. I don't know if that's because of the action, but they've got quite a small paddle. It's got some cross action on it. And then we've got this satin black finish. Now I really like a nice satin black finish. I think especially if you're a budget gun or a competition gun, I think rather than have some horrible little bitty engraving, a really shiny sort of gaudy action, matte black, much more classy, and I think this looks very nice. Yeah, we've got Yildiz here etched in there in silver. We've got Yildiz steel sporter underneath. And inside I can see that we've got steel trunnions. And I think the recoil shoulders on this gun are here at the bottom, so that's all good. Keep her on face. Yeah, let's move on to the barrels and fore end. So I'm looking here. We've got the CIP Fleur de Lis high performance steel, which I think is probably the main reason why you would buy this gun over a second-hand gun. Future-proof wise, this gun you're going to be alright shooting your high performance steel through. So a wise buy. You've come into this gun, you've not spent a lot of money, and when things change, you're good to go. So that's fantastic. 3-inch chambers. Obviously, we've got multi-chokes. We've got an LPA foresight, and we've got a file cut rib. Now, usual Yildiz, it is quite, I wouldn't say sharp, but noticeably rough. But it really does dull down the glare, and that's very nice. We've got a ventilated rib and ventilated mid-ribs, and they've not fetched the ribs all the way back to take a little bit of weight out of the back of the gun. And there's sort of a satin bluing. Now I have noticed some of the bluing here where they've polished to fit the action. There's still a little bit there, just takes away from it a bit. And we've got almost like a Beretta style ejector. You don't want anything fancy, just something that's going to work for you. Now, when I got the gun out, I did have a little bit of stick on the ejectors. I think it's just the grease that it's still got on it from new. It's a very new gun. Yeah. So we'll have a quick look at the fore end. Same again, nice neat checkering, board around it. Yeah, very classical look. It's got a little bit of a schnabel. Thought they might have put a bit of a beaver tail on this fore end. I don't think it'd cost any extra, it wouldn't be any difficulty, but I think they could, I think design wise we've got a sporter very much aimed at sporting, adjustable palm swell. Could just do with a little bit more weft, I think, in this fore end. But nicely designed. Yeah. Now right with that, let's clip it together. Like I say, it's got a little bit of polishing here on the action, so I think a little bit of hand finishing, which is never a bad thing. And there she is. She's not a bad looking gun at all. I think the black action really looks nice. Like I say, all the fit of the barrels to the action is quite, the metal to metal fit is nothing wrong with it. Yeah, the Turkish are, the engineering side of it and what they're producing really is very good. Like I say, we're at the lower end of the new sporter market, and I think for some people this is a good buy. If I'd have done this review 5 years ago and the steel proofing wasn't an issue, I'd probably be saying buy yourself a second-hand Miracu, Beretta, whatever it is that you fancy, and steer clear of cheaper, newer guns. But now with the steel shot proof, guns like this are an important thing to purchase, because you don't want to end up tripping yourself up later on when we're on steel. So yeah, all in all, we've got the adjustable cheek piece, quite a nice palm swell. I think they've really nailed that. Now then, one thing I must mention is the trigger. I don't know if you can see that, but the trigger is quite short and ever such a slim blade. And when I hold the gun up, I tend to hold my trigger finger just at the bottom of the trigger blade, and it's just a little bit short really. So it's a very small trigger loop with quite a short, very flat trigger in it. But like I say, it's just one of them things that you notice. We've got to accept what it is, and judge it accordingly. So, trigger pulls. So we've got a mechanical trigger, and we've just got, I don't know if you can see that, just a couple of mil of take up, and then 1, 32, and the trigger isn't too bad, to be honest. Like I say, a bit of take up, quite light, just £3. I wouldn't want the trigger any lighter than that. So how that changes when the gun wears, I suppose we'll find out. My friend bought this because he was on a budget and he wanted a future-proof gun. And this is what he got. He wanted a 32-inch barrel. So he's got his 32-inch barrel, and I shot it today. And to be honest, I like a 30. And I think this gun would probably balance just that little bit better with 30-inch barrels. But a lot of people are wanting the 32s. Obviously, it'd be no problem just to put a bit of lead in the back of the stock and have this balanced on the hinge pin. And I think the gun would feel really nice for it. It's not hard. So at the moment, I'd say she's a bit barrel heavy. Fore end's quite slim. The pistol grip with the little bit of a palm swell and the dimensions of the stock aren't too bad at all. I think we've probably put quite a bit of research into it, really. And that's the Yildiz Sporter Steel Action. Woo! There you go, she's ejecting fine now. So, top gun, really. Yeah, not too bad at all. Yeah, so she weighs 8.5 pounds, and we've got 32-inch barrels. We've got the selected safety catch, single selective trigger, and we've also got the adjustable cheek piece. Very nice. Thank you very much for joining me, and hopefully I'll fetch you another gun soon. And if you could like and subscribe, that would be much appreciated. And we'll see you again. Ciao.